So Google just launched its Pixel 11, and one of the coolest features I think that it includes that not many people are talking about for whatever reason is this teleprompter feature.
Here behind me is the Magic Capture demo space. Magic Capture is a brand new
Now, obviously this is great for content creators, but more technically, I wanted to dive into why this works so well and the technical nuances that needed to go in behind the scenes to get this to work. Firstly, this is a typical example of speech to text. Speech to text is the idea of being able to recognize speech using audio signals and then converting them to text. But there are two big challenges with this. One is latency. Latency just means the time it takes for me to say something, process it, and then get a result back. And then two is the processing. The amount of processing needed due to the AI models running in order to complete something like this is quite impressive. So for them to be able to do this with near zero latency speaks for itself. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to use AI to build something like this for yourself. If you're looking to build an application or you already have one that uses real-time translation, this is a great place for you to start. Okay, so this is how I'm building this teleprompter application. So I already had a teleprompter application that I built on the web that I used for recording some of my videos, short form videos, long form videos, and so on, especially for the intros and outros. So if you're looking for something like that, feel free to check the link in the description below for the prompt that I used to generate that application. But it's very simple. You can ask any AI agent to do it and it should be able to mock it up for you very quickly without any problems. Now, I saw that thing on Google where they were able to generate real-time transcription so that they could understand what you're saying and then move the teleprompter accordingly. I thought that was super cool. Obviously not necessary, it's a nice to have, but if you are building a teleprompter application or if you have an application that requires real-time speech to text, this is a great place to start. So all I did was I jumped into ChatGPT. You can use ChatGPT, Claude, whatever. And you'll actually see it worked for like 3 hours on this, so I set it and forget it. But the prompt was the most important thing. And the reason this worked really well is because I actually knew what to give it in terms of the prompt. So firstly, this is what my teleprompter application looks like. It's not super important, but more importantly than that, I was able to find a live translation API that Gemini or Google provides through their Gemini Live API. Now, you can run shorter, like smaller models. It's not important what the code looks like. If you're not a coder, that's absolutely okay. All you need to do is craft a proper prompt in order for the AI agent to write the appropriate code for you, right? Now, this was the data or the API documentation that I gave ChatGPT. You can see here, now I want to, inside of my Forge, it's the application, my teleprompter application is called Forge. So all I want is that the difference between the teleprompter that I've built already versus this is that I want it to proceed only every time I say a specific word. And then it should highlight that word and move forward. We'll test it in a moment. But you'll see here, I crafted the prompt and I gave it the URL. That's it. It worked for 3 hours and it gave me a result that I'm super happy with. There was something that came up that where it was acting a little bit buggy, but I actually think that was because of my microphone. So I don't think you need to do this. You can see it worked for another 49 minutes, but I don't think it really did a whole lot because I enabled my mic. It was giving me the same errors. I enabled my microphone and it worked. So silly error on my end. So let's go ahead and test this out and see what happens. So I'm going to go ahead and test this out with you here. Hopefully it works. We'll see what happens. Your agent nails the demo. Real users break it in a day. Here's why in 30 seconds. When you test it yourself, you follow the happy path. The clean question, the input you designed for, but real users don't. They paste half a sentence in, ask 3 things at once, and then feed it data you never even pictured. And just like that, like I've been able to build a teleprompter application that's very similar to the one that Google showed off. And although it's not real time or like basically real time that the Google one's running, it works perfectly fine for me. Now, I do want to know for this specific application, the near real time latency that Google's able to achieve is because they're running the speech to text model locally on the device. They obviously don't advertise this, but the only way to achieve that near real-time latency and being able to work without the internet, obviously, is because they have an on-device model. Now, a lot of us don't have the same luxury and research capabilities as Google to create a really powerful model and then shrink it down to a size that is able to run on the device without taking up too much energy or electricity. But this is probably a really good first start. Now, the other caveat that I'll tell you is because it's using the Gemini Live API, it will use or consume API credits. So just keep in mind when you're building stuff like this, if you are using a specific API provider, you just want to make sure that the tokens that you're using, it falls within your API credits that you have access to. So other cool things that you can build with this are anything that's speech oriented. So if you wanted to have real-time avatars, for example, and you wanted to build a service that generates these real-time avatars, you want the avatars to be able to speak in real time or respond to someone. Someone had come to me a few months ago asking me to try to build an avatar for them that acts as a therapist. I'm obviously not licensed to be able to do anything like that, but just the idea of having an avatar that can respond in near real time with legible responses is quite powerful. And remember, this is not the LLM. This is just the translation API. If you wanted to build an avatar like that, for example, you need a few different moving parts. This would be the first step where someone speaks and then it translates it to text so that the LLM can then take that in. You would need another provider. You can use Gemini, but you would use their LLM provider or their Gemini API, the 3.5 Flash or whatever. And you would take the text that the speech to text generated, this API generated, and then feed that into the LLM or the API call into Gemini to then produce a response that can then give you an output that is in the voice of that, therapist or whatever. So very cool stuff that you can do right now. I encourage you, if you see something very cool that you saw online that you want to try to replicate, I encourage you to just jump into ChatGPT or Claude and try to build it yourself, because there's never been a better time and there's so much capability right now. So hope this one helped. So as you can see, we've been able to build a near real-time teleprompter application that uses voice recognition technology or speech to text to move the script down for us. It's honestly kind of mind-blowing what you can do with AI right now, but as long as you understand the terminology, where to find the right resources, and feed into the AI agents that you're working with, the sky's the limit and there are endless possibilities. So if this one was helpful, drop a like and subscribe below, because a lot more videos like this will be coming soon. Later.